speaking to all my entrepreneurs.
You're not lazy, you're not broken, you just need a simple mindset shift.
Overthinking, and we know what happens when you overthink on an idea.
Stop dilly-dallying, stop making that logo, get off of Canva.
If you've been sitting on an idea but telling yourself you're not ready, this one is for you.
Worst case scenario, if it all hits the fan, you end up where you started.
I don't even think I could function. It takes me so long to...
Welcome back to the best flipping show on YouTube, the Unplug Podcast.
Episode 25.
Let's
go.
Let's go. And guys, if you're joining us here for the first time, we are here to help you unplug from the matrix and live life on your own terms.
So this is for the entrepreneurs, the dreamers.
Tell them again.
The believers.
The what?
Especially this episode, guys, this is for the creators. So if you've been sitting on an idea for a while, this one's for you. Let's go.
And guys, without further ado, we know you're loving the Would You Rather, so I'm going to get straight into it. Now, on this week's Would You Rather, would you rather lose your sight or your memories? And to kind of put it into perspective, right? Say, with your memories, you'd forget about what you've done the previous year. So you have like a 12-month memory.
Okay. I think this one's quite easy. I'd lose my memory.
Really?
Getting old, I lose my memory anyway, bro. I forget things I did last week, bro. So
really?
Yeah, no, my sight is important. I need my sight. I need my sight. I don't mind losing 12 months memory.
Okay.
Yeah, no. I think for me, like being able to see things and appreciate the beauty of things through sight, I'll lose my memory for 12 months. That's all right. I'll make another 12 months. But if I can't see, yeah, no.
But okay, let's get granular a little bit. That's
right.
like cool. Maybe like, you know, your kid got married last year. Completely forgot that. Or maybe like big tournament. He's won his first football tournament. Completely forgot that. Maybe, you know, you're developing this new business plan, this new sort of service or product that you're providing. Completely forgot about how you started that. You just got 100K in your account.
Yeah, I'll lose my memory.
Still?
Yeah, still. No, I can't. I think to have something throughout my whole life and then no longer have it and it hasn't been taken away from me, like...
Okay, does it change if you were born like this though?
Yeah, because I don't know any different.
Yeah.
Right? I always say to you, like, if you don't know any different, then you don't know any different. But
True.
if I have sight and now one of my senses
Has been gone.
is gone,
Core sense.
like literally... Yeah, I don't think I'll be able to function properly because I'm so used to being able to see, and now that's being taken away from me. I don't even think I could function. It takes me so long to, bro. It takes me so long to adapt. Yeah. Whereas if I've lost 12 months, I'm like, all right, cool.
Yeah.
Let's create another 12 months. Bro.
Yeah.
Go into ChatGPT and see what I was doing 12 months ago. What about you?
I was even thinking to myself when I was thinking about this question. I don't really know. You've sort of opened my perspective. I was straight away going to go sight. I feel like I need to remember. I don't know. I cherish memories.
Okay.
I'm nostalgic. You know, I like to reminisce.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I like to sort of, you know, I'm driving past, this is when, we used to do knock down ginger when I was in school, or like, this is my old school, my old stomping ground, or this where, you know, met the missus, whatever. Like, I'm nostalgic. I cherish memories. You know, obviously I do definitely, I'm very, very blessed to appreciate to have like, you know, all my senses. But I've never been like a, look at this scenic view or the sunset or, you know what I mean? Like, I do definitely appreciate God's creatures, but I get bored. Like, I get really, like, I went to the Louvre in Paris. I kid you not, bro. After 15 minutes, I wanted to go. Like, where's Mona Lisa? I'm gone.
Done. But question. With your sight is helping you create memories.
Yeah. You got
Think
me there.
about that one.
You got me there.
Like, if you take away your sight, what memories are you creating?
Yeah.
Like, you're hearing what you've heard. This is why I'm going to say, guys, the importance of taking pictures, recording videos, so you'll have those memories. Save those memories somewhere.
Definitely. But guys, please let us know in the comments. Would you rather lose your sight or your memory? Let us know.
Cool, guys. Today's episode is from idea to income, the truth about starting. So if you've been sitting on an idea but telling yourself you're not ready, you know, this one is for you. And guys, I just want to say this episode, it's not about sort of motivation. It's about movement. We're unpacking myths. mindset blocks, the real game plan about getting ready to launch your business and get paid for what you know.
110%, guys. And you're not lazy. You're not broken. You just need a simple mindset shift to make this idea into a reality. And this is what we're going to pack in today's episode. Let's get straight to it.
So we're going to deep dive in terms of what types of things stop people from making that move. So we're talking internal feelings, external feelings, and your overall philosophical, type of feel or how you're feeling. So let's kick off with internal. So what would you say to those people who are internally feeling, fearful? They feel, one of my biggest ones, imposter syndrome. And for those of you who don't know what imposter syndrome is where you feel you are doing something or want to do something, but something internally makes you feel like, who are you to be doing this? And it prevents you from taking action.
Yes.
So let's deep dive.
Yeah, I think even just sort of leading on with that, I feel like the majority of people will feel like they are not good enough, they are not eligible, they're not knowledgeable enough, and overall comes under the overarching theme of limiting belief, effectively, right? So you are effectively stopping yourself from doing what needs to be done. And even just sort of, speaking about, even quickly personally, how this sort of affected me, I've always felt massive amounts of imposter syndrome because there wasn't a lot of people that looked like me and sounded like me that are doing what I'm doing, right? So never being afraid to sort of, break, go against the grain, sort of break the culture, break what the norm is a lot of time. And that's a lot about what we pack about, sort of unplugging from the matrix and living life on your own terms. So I think a big thing, that we can maybe talk a bit about is sort of like the limiting beliefs that a lot of people have.
So my thing is, our audience is sitting there watching this and they have this idea, but they have, this internal problem. They are fearful. They have this imposter syndrome. They're overthinking, and we know what happens when you overthink on an idea. What do they do?
I think the most important thing is to plan, right? Like you say, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. If I said that the right way around, right?
Yeah, you did. Fail to plan, you plan to fail.
Yeah, there we go, right? And I think planning, right? Because an idea is just an idea, right? So it's all about the execution elements behind that, right? So like the start and also the level of time that's spent about it. I feel like the biggest time element, and I'm guilty of this as well, where people spend a lot of time, is the logo, is the name, is the branding.
All the things that just don't even
all the
matter.
things that don't move the needle necessarily, right? Like things, I think like things will always stick, right? Like, do you think when Nike first, like Nike, what type of, like, think about Nike, Adidas,
what does that even mean?
What does that mean? Right? So that's what I'm saying. So like focus on, the execution, focus on, your plan, and I feel like the rest will sort of fall in place, but focus on things that matter, that actually move the needle. I think it's like a one thing for me.
Cool. I think for me, like I said, I still do, suffer from imposter syndrome. Some of the things and some of the moves that I'm making, I'm like, am I even qualified to even do this? But then I have to remind myself of my journey and where I started to where I am now. And it kind of just has given me that confidence that you can do whatever you want to do. You just need to overcome that mental mind block. And the reality is, guys, you've got nothing to lose. Like, what have you got to lose? If you don't do nothing, you're in the same place. If you do something, at least you're giving yourself the best possible chance.
There we go.
To achieve whatever it is that you want to achieve. So what about sort of external problems now? So, you have your internal problems about how you feel and, maybe just your internal feelings making you feel some type of way. What about the external problems? Like people feel like their business might not work because of X, Y, Z.
Yeah, I feel like some talking or thinking a lot about the external problems. You might think, oh, I need a bigger following, I need a larger audience. A lot of you guys are probably working a 9-to-5 job right now. What, but if my boss sees? That was a big thing for me, actually. I was thinking, for a lot, we work in property, work with investments, and actually LinkedIn, social media, Instagram is the place to sort of network on these individuals. I'm thinking, what if my boss sees me on LinkedIn? What if they see I'm doing this and I'm doing that? What does it say in my contract? Like, I feel like loads of those external factors, which actually don't matter, so long as you're doing your job that they're paying you to do, everything you do outside is personal.
Check your contracts, though.
Yeah, obviously, check your contract. Make sure you're not violating
conflict of interest.
Yeah, definitely. But like more than likely, you're not doing anything that's going to go against their terms and policies, and you're going to create a business. You're going to do a lot of personal branding, and I'm sure it's going to be like of a good ethic and moral standing anyway. So I feel like that's a big thing for myself. Is like just to not don't think too much about the external factors of other people. It's you, yourself, and your own business.
Yeah, and I just want to add, obviously, a lot of people feel they need, you know, a big following to make money. They need this fancy website. You know, they need, you know, just more time. They just got to get started. Like, if you don't start, you're never going to build any momentum. And you find once you start anyway, things start to pick up. Things that you never thought, you know, would have happened start happening. Like, literally, I don't know if the law of attraction, where you just get started, and once you get started, that door opens, you meet that person, you end up making that move and end up doing things like, 2 years ago, did you think you'd be sat here on a podcast with yours truly? Do you know what I mean? Like, you just never know, bro.
You're right. You
never know. So, yeah, cool. And then lastly, just like philosophical problems. So, you know, you guys, you deserve to bet on yourself, you know, without needing permission. A lot of people feel like they need external validation from friends, family, whatever. Let's talk about that a little bit.
One thing I always say is that we were all brought into this world individually and independent of one another, and we'll simply return and perish individually and independent of one another. Right? That. So, you know, a lot of people, you know, you go to uni for your family, for your parents, because you've been told to do so. But I think in this journey, it's for yourself, right? The success you have, the failures you have, they're all you. You're the only one that's going to experience that. Within reason, there's not going to be a lot of internal or emotional support that people, to a limit, that people can support you with. So, you know, don't require the validation. Don't require the nod of approval or the go ahead. Now, like, I mean, probably think back to every single successful thing you've done in your life, every single positive aspect you've done in your life. How much influence was done by third party? Or maybe all the times you've taken an action or a step off your own back end, what were the results? How did that make you feel? Right? To have your own autonomous decision. Right? And I think that's like a big factor to me.
No, I like that. And I think, guys, I just want to say, you know, I feel within us, we have everything we need to succeed. We have more than enough.
More than enough.
And then when it comes to now, you know, maybe developing extra skills or new skills, you know, the world is your oyster. The internet's there. You can go on courses. You can hire a mentor. Like, everything you need is within you guys. And I think I spoke about it on a previous episode. You have to keep evolving. You have to keep learning. You have to learn new skills. You have to be around the right people. You have to keep pushing yourself. And then once you keep pushing yourself, you'll understand, or you see that I have got what it takes to make it. I can do the things that maybe I'm doubting myself, you know, that I can't do. So yeah, just kind of wanted to throw that in there. Cool. So next.
And I feel like, in terms of like the next step that we sort of want to focus on, and I sort of allude to it, is the plan, right? And guys, we've been exactly where you are. We've been behind all the notepads and books. We've had loads of scribbles, loads of doodles, all these courses, all these seminars, all these events, thousands of pounds. We spent it all and we've done it all, right? And the biggest attribute to a lot of the success that we've had is to plan. I can't argue this evermore. Like, even to the most scrutinous of details, planning, right? Planning, doing, action, taking, right? Having clear steps. On this day, on this time, I'm going to do X, Y, and Z. Even if it's just meeting, even if it's just market research. Maybe you want to set up a shop, you know, a mobile barber shop or a mobile salon, or your girl, you want to do your nail textures. Like, where's your vendor? Where are you going to get your hair from, right? What's your logistics like? What does your packaging look like? Who's your specific like type of market, right? Are you going for slightly, you know, older ladies, or are you going for the younger crowd? Be uber specific. Like I spoke about that in the last episode as well. Be as granular and as specific as you want, because whether you want to call it law of attraction, your God, your faith, or manifestation, it will happen, you know? Like, even simply just writing down your goals or your tasks or your to-do list, you're like 40-50% more likely to actually achieve it just by writing it down, you know? So I think we can probably get into a bit about the planning aspect now. Yeah,
and I just want to add to that. I think you made some very good points. I feel like, you know, whatever you do, whenever you're doing something new for the first time, there's always going to be self-doubt. Self-doubt is going to scream at you, and it's normally louder than your ambition. You know, you got your ambition, but your self-doubt, you are now doing something you've never done before. It's scary. You start to feel, you know, that anxiety kicks in, like, what if this fails? But, you know, you just have to understand that if you don't start, nothing will happen.
Literally.
You know, so in terms of digging into the plan, and also I wanted to add one last thing as well, because I know both of us have been there, where a lot of people feel like they need to feel ready to start. And I found in my experience that you don't start a business when you're ready. You just have to start regardless whether you feel ready or not. And then things start to pick up. There's never going to be a perfect moment to start a business. Like you can't, in my opinion, line up all your ducks and be like, okay, everything's lined up. Now it's time to launch it. It doesn't work like that.
Bro, and I think that's so good. And even just, again, the previous episode, only because it was an absolute banger. But just, sort of co-signing that again, the person you want to be isn't in this exist environment. It's a growing pain. It's an like John said, you're constantly evolving. The person who you want to be, where you want to be, doesn't exist yet, right? So you're never going to be ready, right? So I feel like I think that's going to be a big part in terms of overcoming those sort of limiting beliefs and also sort of those imposter syndromes as well, sort of. But yeah, again, it's, as we always say, it's easier said than done.
No, very, very easier said than done. Very, very. So guys, moving into the plan, we always are about sort of practical steps and how we can help you guys implement and overcome this problem. So one of the biggest things that me and Freeman now know being in business is that most successful businesses solve a major problem. So my thing is, if you are thinking about launching a business or you have an idea, really dissect what problem am I trying to solve and am I solving it in the best possible way? And I always looked at, if other people are solving the problem, oh God, it's saturated. Maybe I can't do it. There's going to be too much competition. But now, I now realize saturation is good because saturation tells you there's people making money.
That's beautiful market research.
Amazing. And it validates the idea.
Yeah.
It's like a lot of people now getting into Airbnb. It's not an easy business, but there's people in it because there's money to be made.
Of course.
You just got to be able to be different. So you want to come in with your USP. I found a problem. How am I going to solve this problem? And ideally try and be different with your problem solving.
100%. Like, guys, like you'll get paid to solve problems handsomely, right? There's like right now, the majority of you are exchanging your time for your money. And there's a cap, there's a ceiling point in terms of how much money you can earn for that time. But you'd be exceptionally remunerated by learning a skill or solving a problem and selling that to the masses via product or service, right? And I feel like that's gonna like massively help in terms of your first step of plan. Just find a problem, right? Whether it's something that you're personally experiencing or someone else is personally experiencing, and then find a solution. Then secondly, from that, now see if there's enough people that actually want that problem to be solved.
If the market's big enough.
If the market is big enough. 110%. Like I just feel like solving problems. If you want an easy, clear-cut way to make money, solve problems. Like even like simple things like window cleaning, like people's gardens, like cutting people's gardens, like simple stuff. Like I always find the most lucrative businesses are the most boring.
Yes.
Are the most boring businesses.
Yes.
I read somewhere like Jason Derulo's got like $1 billion worth of a net worth in a car wash business, right? Like he does like a subscription paid service for car washing, right? I know there was when I went to Dubai, there was a guy, he makes about £250,000 a month selling pasta, right? Like it's boring, but like you don't need to be, like I always say it, but like respectfully, you don't need to solve the cure to cancer. Everyone wants to be like an inventor.
Yeah.
Everyone wants to be a Dyson, a Thomas Edison, even though he stole it. But like everyone, you know what I mean? Everyone just wants to be an inventor. But I feel like the people who actually make the most money understand the solution that needs to be solved. And one thing I say a lot is middlemen, middle people. They make the most amount of money. Uber have no cars. Airbnb have no properties. Deliveroo have no restaurants. And they make billions. Middleman. You don't even need to have the product. You don't even need to have the service. Just find the demand and find the supply.
And I want to add in there, create the systems and the infrastructure, because once that's in place,
there we go.
Now you just bring it all together and sit back. And just to add to what Freeman's saying, everyone's looking for that sexy business idea. Like business generally is not sexy.
It's not.
It's not like this fun, exciting thing that everyone thinks it is. So if you're going into it thinking it's that, you might need to just,
G-check yourself.
Yeah, G-check yourself big time, because it is hard. Business is very, very difficult. Speaking to all my entrepreneurs who are out here doing this thing, it's not an easy thing, but you go, you execute, and as you go along, you're learning. And don't always look for that perfect launch.
Yes.
I think in the past, I've been quite guilty of that, where I want everything to be perfect before I launch. But the reality is, when you launch a business, you're going to pivot, you're going to change direction, you're going to tweak things are going to change, the market changes, so you've got to change.
100%.
Don't get too caught up on the idea. The key thing here, guys, we're looking for is what problem does this solve? Is there a big enough market, and are people prepared to pay me for that?
There we go.
And 9 times out of 10, if there are people solving that problem already, you now just need your whole unique spin on it.
100%. Like, even just to make this, just to add this before we go on to the next point, there's literally a business in Germany that replicates US businesses in German markets and like Netherlands and Amsterdam markets, and then the US companies then buy them.
Crazy.
Right? I think there was a similar company that done the same thing with eBay in like South Africa or Zimbabwe or something like that. So like, it's simple stuff. Again, easier said than done. But just to go to show, like, you don't need to, make fancy hoovers, to make money. But sort of going on to the next step, right? Simplicity.
Yes.
Less is generally more.
100%.
Less is generally, make it super stupid. Super stupid. Make it super simple, sorry. Make it super simple. Alex Hormozy, I'm sure you guys obviously know he is, big guy with the nasal strips as well. He, in his book, I think it's called $100 million acquisitions, or 100 million
offers. Well, he's got two. He's got offers and the other one
acquisition. But the magnet one, it's one of the magnet icon. But Ali will pop it up here for you guys to see. But he talks about your value propositions in sales, and he says that you need to make it a no-brainer solution, right? I speak about this a lot. When I speak a lot to my mentees, is like when we're working with landlords and we're trying to acquire their properties. You need to make it a clear-cut value proposition that they need to be an idiot not to work with you.
Yes.
So, once now you've got your issue and you know how you want to solve them, now how you're going to present this to your potential client or to potential customer, how are you going to make this so simple for them? That they can just pull out their card and their wallet and pay you.
Like you said, a no-brainer offer where you'd be silly not to. Like, it makes so much sense that, you'd be an idiot not to.
There we go. And like a lot of the businesses, that are out here, they're very, very, very basic. Like, it's a no-brainer. Like, why would I walk all the way down to the taxi rank or to my local mini cabs when I can pull out my phone and call a cab? Why should I, go to a hotel where there's no kitchen, I've got to pay to cook, and I can book a local apartment? You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, you're right.
Very simple. Right. Make it very simple.
Yeah, cool. And then the last step, guys, I want to add, once you've obviously, thought about the problem or the problem that you're going to solve with your amazing offer and solution, you've crafted your simple offer. We're now looking at letting the whole world know, because the reality is if people don't know you exist, they can't buy from you guys. So it's about now, how do I attract attention? How do I get people knowing who I am and what my solution is? Your job is to make the solution impossible for people not to buy, which you touched on previously.
110%. And again, I feel like very easily, like this might be a mixtape or something slightly controversial. Don't try to sell and rely on family and friends. That will give you a false piece of data on your market research.
Yeah.
Your mum and dad will tell you anything you bake is good. You know what I mean? Like, if you want an open and honest opinion, go to the open market, right? If you now you're an amazing baker and you now want to sell cookies, go on Oxford Street and offer samples to the public, right? If you have a wicked software or a piece of tech and it helps businesses do X, Y, and Z, offer them a 30-day free trial, right? Go outside friends and family. Speak to everyone about what you do. Like, even at my barbershop, like, there's like a notes, like, shout out SAG Grooming, right? There's a whiteboard with loads of like motivational quotes, like, be the best person you can, and etc. I've literally got in bold, probably in the biggest font on that whiteboard, says, if you own property or involved in property, call me, Freeman Richards, with my number.
Them ones. Put your name out
I tell
there.
everyone and anyone about who I am. I get calls pretty much every other week saying, hi, such and such called me, said you're involved in property. The loosest a bit of context. Talk to sometimes even when like we're setting up properties, like before I usually just say I'm moving house, but like I would literally speak to the cashier, I'll tell them what I'm doing. Boss man, at the local off license shop, when I'm in a tab, I'll tell them everything that I'm doing, because you never know. Like my business partner always says like a really, really good quote. He says, you're a couple handshakes away from changing your life.
No, I agree. Meeting the right person can change. Guys, so what we are saying is share it out loudly. If people don't know who you are, they can't pay you, you can't make any money, and you have no business. So I almost feel, the marketing aspect is obviously just as important as, the solution to the problem you're solving. Because if people, you can have the greatest solution to a problem. If people don't know you exist, then, no money's going to get met. So,
100%.
and I just want to say, guys, if you are waiting for the perfect time, you will see people with half the talent living your life of dreams.
Painfully.
110%.
And guys, if you just keep that idea locked up inside your head, it will rot. It will turn into resentment. And then you'll become that old miserable man, that old miserable lady, sitting in your armchair thinking, I've actually thought about Uber before it was Uber. I actually thought about
Plenty of that.
There we go, right? So take action. Get out of your armchair and get busy. Get your notepad and pen out and let's make this, get your notepad and pen out and let's make this idea into a reality.
And I just want to say, guys, you're not protecting yourself by playing it small. You are harming your future self. Your future self relies on the decisions that you're making today. So make the right decisions, make that move, start that business, and make your future brighter.
And guys, let's picture something right now, right? You've now taken the step. You've got your first customer. You've got your first client, your first subscription, your first payment, the cha-ching on Shopify, right? It's come through, right? And this isn't because you've been lucky or this isn't because you've worked exceptionally hard. That's because you've taken that step, that first courageous step to actually take action, to actually live life on your own terms. So like, be delusional, be crazy and actually see what you're about to do, that this idea is a reality. And like I always say, if you can see it and if you can believe it, it's already happened.
Mm-hmm. Play it out in your head.
There we go.
Cool. All right, guys, we hope you enjoyed that episode.
Yes, sir.
Hopefully that kind of amped you up, man, and made you feel, you know what? Let me just do this thing, man. What have I got to lose? What have I got to not do it? This part of the episode is called Plug Bites.
Plug Bites.
This is where myself and Freeman talk about something that inspired us, motivated us, made us just stop and pause and think, raw.
Oh, this is a bit mad.
Yeah,
this needs to be shared with the people.
Yeah, it needs to be shared with people to back. So I will go first with my plug bite for this week.
Sure.
And my plug bite reads, the person you want to be is hiding behind the decision you're scared to make.
Perfect.
Wow. That is powerful.
That's solid.
Powerful. And I just want to say, for me, what that means is that we are, and you mentioned it earlier, we are one decision away from changing our lives, guys. A lot of people are scared to make that move. And I think I spoke about it in a previous episode. Well, I actually broke down what fear means. And for those of you who haven't seen that episode, go and watch it. I think it might have been episode 11.
10 or 11.
And I'm like, fear stands for false evidence appearing real. What you are visualizing in your head as something, scary, you're not going to die. You might fall down, scratch your knee, get a cut, but you'll learn. Life is about learning, guys. So don't be afraid to make that decision that will change your life. You are one decision away from being a better version of yourself and going to the next level.
110%. 110%. My plug bite, short and sweet. It's, if you're waiting for a sign, this is it. Build now. Actionable. Actionable. Stop dilly-dallying. Stop making that logo. Get off of Canva.
Stop making excuses.
Literally. You are the excuses you create. I say this over and over again. And let's just make mistakes. Let's fail. Let's get bruises. Let's get our hands dirty. Let's get busy. Put yourself out there. And like John said as well, the worst case scenario, if it all hits the fan, you end up where you started. And at least you know you tried.
Yeah. No, I like that, man. I think people don't understand that a part of this entrepreneurial journey is having failures. Like, you only learn from making mistakes and things going wrong.
100%.
And, talking to you, you know who you are. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. Don't be afraid of failure. It is the only way you can learn. It's the only way you can improve. It's the only way you can get better. Don't be afraid to fail.
100%. And guys, quick one as well. I know we liked the challenge from last time, but new challenge. Please, I want to see that Instagram account made. I want to see your first email sent to your first client. I want to see your market research. Please, at us, at the Unplug Podcast. And we will post, we'll reshare on our personal stories and promote your businesses, promote you guys taking your first step into making that idea into a reality. Right?
Love that.
But whew.
It was good. It's hot in here, man.
What an episode, guys. But as always, guys, I really, really hope you guys, But I really, really hope you appreciated it. But but guys, I really, really hope you appreciate this episode. You know, the practical steps and guides that we've given you to actually take action. Guys, I really, really hope you appreciate this episode, the actionable steps and the guides that we've taken to make your idea into reality.
Cool, guys. And don't forget to like,
to share,
subscribe,
and always tell a friend to tell a friend, tell your mom, tell your dad, tell his mistress.
Jeez.
And as always, guys, love, love, love.
Elevate.